In this video, I'm going to talk to you about converting between different types of units of measure. I'm going to start with inches and feet. There are 12 inches in 1 foot. If I wanted to convert between inches and feet, I can use this fact to figure out, let's say if I start with 4 feet, I can figure out how many inches are in 4 feet just knowing that in every foot there are 12 inches. To convert from feet to inches, I just multiply by 12. So since 4 times 12 is 48, there are 48 inches in 4 feet. If I want to convert back the other way, then I have to divide. It's the opposite of multiplication. Every conversion fact has some sort of relationship that can usually be distilled into multiplication and division. For example, there are 5,280 feet in every mile. If I wanted to convert from feet to miles, I can think about how to convert from 5,280 to 1. Since 1 is much smaller than 5,280, I must be dividing. And if I divide 5,280 by itself, I get 1. Well, that also tells me how to convert from miles to feet. Instead of dividing here, I'd multiply by 5,280. If you were asked to figure out how many miles are in 10,000 feet, then you can just simply look back at your conversion fact and figure out how to go from feet to miles. We just divide by 5,280. Which is about 1.89. Let's look at some other units. In order to convert between meters and centimeters, it's helpful to understand some common metric prefixes. Centi stands for 1/100th. 1/100th of something is a centi. Kilo in kilometers means 1,000. So a kilometer is 1,000 meters, and a centimeter is 1/100th of a meter. If I wanted to convert in the metric system from 3.8 meters into something centimeters, if I look at the conversion fact, I can see that to go from 1 meter to 100 centimeters, the numbers are getting bigger, so I'm multiplying by 100. To go back the other way from centimeters to meters, dividing by 100. In this case, to convert from meters to centimeters, I'm going in this direction from meters to centimeters, so I'm multiplying by 100. 3.8 times 100 is 3,000. Whoops. Is 380. To go from centimeters to meters then, let's say I had 45 centimeters and I wanted to convert it into meters, I'd use the conversion fact going the other direction, from 100 to 1. In this case, from centimeters to meters, I'm dividing by 100. And 45 divided by 100 is 0.45. So 45 centimeters is 0.45 meters, or 45 hundredths of a meter. Sometimes we're asked to convert from units to other units that aren't intermediate. For example, to convert from kilometers to centimeters, using these two facts, I first have to convert 34.2 kilometers into meters, because then I can convert meters into centimeters. Well, if we think about this process, to convert kilometers to meters, we're going to multiply by 1,000. And to convert meters to centimeters, we're going to multiply by 100. So to convert 34.2 kilometers into centimeters, we do 34.2 times 1,000, and then we multiply it by 100. The answer then is 34.2, and since I'm multiplying by 1,000, I'd move the decimal 3 places. And then for the 100, I'm going to move the decimal 2 places. The decimal ends up here. I can leave zeros to hold the places after it. And so the answer is 3,420,000 centimeters are in 34.2 kilometers. At the root of what I'm saying to do about units is to take units. Say I know that 1 GABA, I'm going to just make up a unit, is equal to 7 DABAs. Then I can convert from GABAs to DABAs just by looking at the relationship between the units. How do I go from 1 to 7? Well, if 1 GABA is equal to 7 DABAs, then if I multiply the number of GABAs I have by 7, then it will give me the number of DABAs. And if I wanted to convert from DABAs back to GABAs, then I would just do the opposite, divide by 7. Once I've used this conversion fact, I can easily convert between DABAs and GABAs. In this case, to go from DABAs to GABAs, I have to divide by 7. So 350 divided by 7 equals 50. So to answer the question, I'd say there are 50 GABAs in 350 DABAs. This makes looking at measurements of different units an easy thing to think about. In all the examples I've used so far, I've had one unit that was by itself, like 1 foot, equals a number of inches. But what if you had a conversion fact like 3 yards equals 2.7432 meters? How would you use a conversion fact like that to convert between yards and meters? One easy way to do it would be to divide both of sides of the conversion fact by 3, leaving you with 1 yard is equal to 0.9144 meters. Now I'm going to try and show you how to use some conversion facts that relate speeds. Most cars in a neighborhood have to drive at about 25 miles per hour. This speed, 25 miles per hour, or 25 mph as it's sometimes written, really means that in 1 hour, the car can drive 25 miles at that speed. Oftentimes we write the speed as a fraction, 25 miles per hour in 1 hour. Well, if I wanted to convert this speed, 25 miles per hour, into a number of feet per second, how would I do that? The way to think about this is to convert from miles into feet, and then to think about how you convert from hours into seconds. So to convert from miles to feet, we know that you have to multiply by 5,280, because there are 5,280 feet in a mile. How do we convert from hours into seconds? Well, to convert from hours to minutes, we multiply by 60. And then to convert from minutes to seconds, we have to multiply by 60 again. So if we took our fact 25 miles in 1 hour and just tried to convert each of the measurements into our goal measurement, if you converted miles to feet and hours into seconds, what would this fraction say? Well, instead of 25 miles, we'd have 25 times 5,280, or 132,000 miles. Feet. Instead of 1 hour in the denominator, I'd have 1 times 60 times 60, which is 3,600. So 3,600 seconds. To change this speed from feet per 3,600 seconds into feet per second, I'm really just going to divide by 3,600 to convert from 3,600 seconds into 1 second. And now I'm going to divide the top by 3,600 as well. 36.6 repeating feet per second. This general process would work to turn any number of miles per hour. Let's say you had x miles per hour. And you wanted to convert that into something feet per second. How many feet per second are in that many miles per hour? Well, we took the numerator and we multiplied it by 5,280. And then, if you remember, in the end, we got an answer, and we took that answer and we divided it by 3,600, which was the number of seconds in an hour. So for any number of miles per hour, let's say for 60 miles per hour, we could do that same process to find the number of feet per second. I do 60 times 5,280 and then divided by 3,600. That'll convert 60 miles per hour into 88 feet per second. Well, how would I then turn feet per second into miles per hour? Let's say that I was able to jump 10 feet per second. To convert this into miles per hour, I'd just be moving this way, starting at feet per second and trying to get back to miles per hour. So I'm going to start by multiplying by 3,600, just doing the opposite that I had here. And once I've multiplied by 3,600, I'm going to divide by 5,280. Well, that means that 10 feet per second is about 6.81 miles per hour. Actually, that should be 6.82 miles per hour because the 81 repeats.